Ever wish you could like hop into a time machine and just like experience a totally different era firsthand?
Totally. Who wouldn't want to do that, right?
Well, today we're kind of doing just that, musically speaking at least.
Oh, I like where this is going.
We're taking a deep dive into the U.S. Top 40 chart from January 31st, 1981.
Ooh, a sonic snapshot. I like it. We're talking about capturing a single week in music history, folks.
And for any of our listeners who weren't, how do I put this, alive back then.
A little before your time.
Yeah. Get ready for some serious blasts from the past.
Oh, yeah. We're talking major nostalgia vibes.
Blondie, John Lennon, Kool and the Gang, Dolly Parton. It's going to be a packed show.
A real mix. I'm excited.
Our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to figure out what can these hits tell us, not just about the music, but about the whole culture back in 1981.
Because music is always a reflection of something bigger, right?
Exactly. So to really understand what we're looking at here, we got to remember something. In 1981, the Billboard Top 40, that wasn't just like, oh, a playlist or something. It was the list.
Absolutely. This was like pre-internet, pre-widespread cassettes even. We're talking about a whole different world of music consumption.
So no Spotify playlists or endlessly scrolling through YouTube.
Well, think radio play, vinyl records. That was how people connected with music back then.
Wow. So to land on the top 40, that was a huge deal for an artist's career.
Career making sometimes.
I'm picturing it. It's a cold January in 81. I turn on the radio. What's blasting out at me?
Well, at the top of the charts, still holding strong at #1. That would be Blondie with The Tide is High.
Of course.
Oh,
Classic.
And, you know, Blondie, they really kind of encapsulated that whole new wave sound that was bubbling up, you know? That mix of, like, punk energy with pop catchiness, maybe even a little hint of disco still hanging on.
A little something for everyone. I dig it. But then, whoa, #2 on the charts. It's John Lennon with just, like, starting over. Which, wow, talk about bittersweet, right? Considering he had just
passed away. Yeah, just a couple months earlier, actually. It was his comeback single, really. And the fact that it was such a hit just shows you the impact, the legacy.
Definitely. And it's crazy because, hold on, his song Woman, it's debuting this week at #17. So we've got 2 Lennon tracks on the chart at once.
A musical legacy unfolding right in front of us. This chart really is like a direct line to that moment.
Wild. Speaking of capturing a moment. #3, Kool and the Gang, Celebration. Go on, you know that one.
Instant 1981 vibes, am I right? Even if it does have those disco roots, which, let's be real, we're fading fast.
Yeah, but, you know, a good party anthem. That can outlast any trend. For a while, at least.
Yeah.
Okay, but then get ready for a change-up because at #4, it's Eddie Rabbitt with I Love a Rainy Night.
Country. And that's a great example of another major trend, the rise of these country crossover hits.
Bridging genres. I'm into it.
I Love a Rainy Night. It dominated the country charts, obviously, but being up here on the top 40, that shows you how artists were starting to appeal to way bigger audiences, breaking down those genre walls.
Yeah. And you know what else is a perfect example of crossover appeal?
What's that?
Look no further than #8 on our list.
Let's see. Oh, okay. There she is.
Dolly Parton. 9 to 5, baby.
I mean, come on. You can't talk about 1981 without this one. A true icon. Right. And it just proves a great song is a great song. It can speak to everyone, you know? Like, no matter who you are, what kind of music you usually listen to.
Everyone loves a bit of Dolly.
Exactly. Okay, but now I'm curious.
Shoot.
Are there any, like, Dan Fogelberg fans out there in the audience? Anyone?
Interesting one.
Yeah, because at #14, we've got Same Old Lang Syne.
That's funny, right?
It feels both really familiar, but also kinda.
Or forgotten.
Yeah, like a song you'd only know if someone told you about it.
Huh. It is a very specific kind of vibe. Very early 80s, very soft rock.
Totally. And it might not have, like, the lasting power of some of these other tracks, but it definitely reflects this kind of introspective, almost melancholy mood that was starting to creep into the music scene.
Yeah, interesting. Almost like a sign of the times, maybe. I mean, 1981, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, you know.
Oh, for sure not.
There was a lot going on. Economic uncertainty, a new political landscape. Maybe people were looking for music that matched the mood a little.
Makes sense. Music often reflects what's happening in the world.
Okay.
But okay. Then we've got at #24. Oh, this one's huge, GE.
Let me guess.
You know it.
It's Hungry Heart, right? Bruce Springsteen.
The boss. And, you know, it's incredible because that song has just endured, you know? It's like an anthem. But why? What do you think it is about Hungry Heart that still resonates with people after all these years?
Well, first of all, that chorus. Insanely catchy.
No argument there. It'll get stuck in your head for days.
But also, Springsteen, he's got this way of, like, tapping into something universal. You know, it's all about longing and searching and that feeling of wanting something more. Those are timeless themes.
He's the poet of the everyday, that's for sure. Okay, but speaking of catchy, and also kind of defying categorization, at number 26, we have, oh man, just the title alone, it's brilliant.
Hit me with it.
The
Oh, come, of course.
Police. Genius, right. You hear that title, you have to know what the song is.
And this was just the beginning for them, really. They were about to become absolutely massive.
Oh yeah, they were just getting started. And they brought this totally unique sound to the table too, like reggae, pop, punk, all mixed together. True innovators.
Genre bending at its finest. They paved the way for so many artists who came after. Okay, but now we got to talk about, well, I guess it's less about who's on the charts and more about who's falling off this week.
Ooh, the bittersweet reality of the music biz. What you got?
Well, we've got Pat Benatar at number 36 with Treat Me Right. Still a classic rock anthem, obviously.
Sure.
But her previous hit, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, that one's actually on its way down the charts this week, which, you know, just goes to show.
Even the biggest hits have their moment.
Exactly. That's a little sad, but also kind of cool. Like, we're seeing this snapshot of peak Pat Benatar right here.
Frozen in time. I dig it.
It really makes you wonder, looking at this list, which of these songs would go on to be career definers? Which ones would kind of fade away?
Right. What a trip to think about. It's like we're looking through this, like, musical history mystery box trying to see the future. And speaking of the future.
Okay, I like where you're going with this.
We've got to remember the context here, right? 1981. This is the very dawn of MTV. We're talking about the moment music videos are about to change everything.
Wow. Yeah, imagine seeing these songs come alive on screen for the first time. Do you think this chart, like, influenced those early music videos? Or was it the other way around?
Man, that is the question, isn't it? The chicken or the egg? It was probably a little of both, honestly, like a feedback loop. But what's clear is things were changing fast. Musically, culturally, disco was on its last legs, new wave was exploding, country was crossing over. 1981 was a year of transitions. It's all right there in the music.
It's like this chart is capturing this wave that's about to break. I love it. But in all that change and all that creative energy, what was the overall vibe? You know, like, what were people actually looking for in their music back then?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, it's like you said, 1981.
Not exactly smooth sailing, right?
No, not really. A lot of uncertainty in the air, economic anxieties, a new president, the Cold War still looming.
Yeah, heavy stuff.
So maybe people were looking for escape, you know?
I can see that.
Some upbeat anthems to forget your troubles for a few minutes. Lose yourself on the dance floor. Music can be like that.
A little musical escape. It's a powerful thing, but it's also kind of trippy to think.
What? Tone.
Someone years from now, they could be listening to this, to us right now, trying to figure out
what our playlists say about us. Oh man, that's meta. I like it.
Right, like, what would they think? What would our sonic time capsule say about 2024?
Ooh, now that's a question I'd love to hear answered.
Me too. But hey, speaking of sonic time capsules, that's kind of what we're doing here.
For sure, taking those snapshots, preserving those moments in time.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our little trip back to 1981, I got to ask you, dear listener, if you were creating a musical time capsule for today, September 27th, 2024, what would be on your playlist? What songs, what artists would you pick to capture this moment in time?
What a question. Think about it, everyone. What story would your music tell?
What's on your 2024 mixtape? All right, that's it for us this week. Big thanks to everyone for time traveling with us. Make sure to check out the show notes for a link to our 1981 playlist, and be sure to share your time capsule playlist with us on social media. Until next time, happy listening.